Not again! They're purging my classic cartoons from Max, likely as another tax write-off. That despicable David Zaslav. And not just my classics, but also the Looney Tunes show got removed, as did Ed, Edd n Eddy, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Static Shock, the original Teen Titans, and even, get this, that darn Teen Titans Go! Except for the most recent season. But the fact that Cartoon Network's most popular current show, one that's more popular than me, I might add, got purged from Max was not a good sign at all. I'm convinced Zaslav wants to reformat the streaming service so there are nearly no cartoons, and he's not going to stop there.
Yes, it does seem that way. My sign here is more relevant than ever, too. We need to spread the word.
Keep it up, Wile E. More and more people need to know what a corrupt scoundrel Zaslav is. I know we've never been treated that well for as long as I can remember. Even Jack Warner thought of us Looney Tunes as a low priority back in the golden years. But all the producers and CEOs we've had, David Zaslav is the biggest threat to us yet. Hey, that kind of rhymes. And I still feel bad for your movie being shelved, Wile E. At least me and Porky's movie, The Day the Earth Blew Up, gets released later next month. It may not have been nominated for any awards, but it's a real humdinger. And for all you viewers out there, please go see it in the theater if you can. You need to make a good profit at the box office so Warner Brothers can realize that people want to see the Looney Tunes and hand-drawn theatrical animation too. Of course, with Ketchup Entertainment distributing the movie, Warner Bros. Discovery isn't going to really make money off it as if it were an indie film. But even so, please, please, please do your part in helping save us Looney Tunes. Also, as for this purging, at least I got the kind of warning in advance this time, thanks to a certain gumshoe.
You're right, Daffy. I, Sam Valentino, private toon detective, have gotten word on this a couple weeks ago from a reliable source that Max will be purging several classic Looney Tunes, including nearly all the Bugs Bunny shorts, as well as the original Teen Titans, Ed, Edd n Eddy, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, the Looney Tunes show, and even seasons 1 to 7 of Teen Titans Go when this year started. But of course, there was nothing we could do. Unlike what Daffy said, this wasn't really a tax write-off, but ways to save money are still important to Warner Bros. Discovery right now, since they still have financial woes, no thanks to that mug they call David Zaslav, and they're not stopping there. According to the aforementioned source, which I'll be posting a link to via the video description, there's talk they'll also be purging the remaining Looney Tunes shorts in the coming months, the Tom and Jerry stuff, what little of the Cartoon Network stuff is left, i.e. Courage the Cowardly Dog, the remaining Hanna-Barbera stuff, as well as the Flintstones and all the Scooby-Doo content on the channel, even the reboots and revivals from Warner Brothers Animation.
Right.
It does seem that way, Scooby, because that was a Max original. But it did recently wrap up, as I said in a previous vlog. And many of the other recent DC Comics stuff, like Batman the Animated Series, and Superman, some of those weren't as recent, and Batman Beyond, the Justice League shows, and Batman the Brave and the Bold will remain on the service till next year. Of course, the Sandra Schwartz era Justice League shows feel are more like live-action productions, with the realistic animation and artwork and sound effects. But of course, that was back when the studio's output was mostly more realistic and down-to-earth, making it a lot like an imitation of live-action, defeating the purpose of it being animated. From what I've seen, it looks like during this year Max is going to phase out most children's programming. I'm sure you've already heard that Max is not renewing their license to stream Sesame Street. And that's not good. Sesame Street is such a long-running preschool series, having been on for 55 years now, and things have been kind of rough for Sesame Workshop for close to 10 years now. PBS's fundings being cut during the 2010s led to Sesame Street relocating to HBO for the first run, beginning with its 46th season, with most episodes later being rerun on PBS months later, the exceptions being the special episodes of that autistic Muppet girl, Julia. And it was cut down from an hour-long program to just a half hour, and they got rid of a good chunk of the human cast, even more recent characters like Leela. But now what's going on here is especially bad, because Sesame Workshop is in no way ready to cancel their flagship series. They're looking for another home, like a streaming service. Maybe Netflix could pick it up? And if PBS weren't in such rough shape, they could start running Sesame Street first run again. But enough about Sesame Street for now. Warner Brothers merging with Discovery Communications turned out to be a bad idea. It's pretty much the Warner Brothers 7 Arts era all over again, in more ways than one. But when Max first launched in 2020 under the HBO Max name, it was still when AT&T owned them as Warner Media, and there was lots of advertisements and promotional material showing you could watch lots of great cartoons there, as at the time it was also being marketed toward kids and family audiences. But today, not so much, and in a sense of hypocrisy. There's also when the Cartoon Network website shut down last year to just redirect you to Max, and now most of the Cartoon Network shows are no longer streaming there. Then when the Boomerang streaming service shut down last autumn, they were all saying you can now stream them on Max, and they even added a good chunk of content like more Looney Tunes shorts and Scooby-Doo shows, but now those are soon going to be removed. Why must they rub it in? Also, it seems that the streaming market overall is in rough shape right now. While Disney Plus may have recently turned a profit, they still purged some of their shows, like Haley's on It. And Paramount Plus is no better off, as they also removed several Nickelodeon shows. Even the original Doug, the first Nicktoon to air in 1991, immediately followed by Rugrats and the Ren and Stimpy Show. Paramount Global even recently considered Nickelodeon a low priority, but it lately seems that streaming is starting to die out, after likely being just a fad in the late 2010s and early 2020s, especially when the COVID-19 pandemic happened and we needed something to do when locked down in our homes. Cable TV is also dying, since Cartoon Network is considered a low priority by Warner Bros. Discovery. But MeTV Toons is still thriving, having now been airing for 6 months, and it's slowly spreading in accessibility, to the point where a few cable and satellite providers are now picking it up. But Xfinity still doesn't want to touch it yet. So for now, I'm still going with the Friendly TV service to see it. And there are still plans to launch a MeTV Toons Fast streaming channel, a free ad-supported streaming service akin to Tubi or Pluto TV. I've got a hunch that could be a possible reason why Max is working on phasing out content for kids and families, since now they can share a free ad-supported fast streaming service with Wagel Broadcasting to stream the older WB-owned cartoons on. Well, mostly older, because once upon a December, MeTV Toons started showing reruns of Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated on Sundays, and right now it's the newest thing they're showing, originally airing on Cartoon Network in 2010 to 2013. And it's still rated TVY 7FV, even though it's really violent and edgy and dark. While it's not an adult series like Mindy Kaling's Velma, it's still definitely not suitable for little kids. This is like itchy and scratchy levels of violence we're talking about. And the nightmare fuel as well. Heck, given how twisted the world of The Simpsons is, I bet Itchy and Scratchy is rated TVY 7FV there. Since people lately consider the violent content like in those cartoons to be fantasy violence and all. As part of this, Zach Wolf even wrote a fanmake of the Golden Age Simpsons episode with Marge protesting over the violence of Itchy and Scratchy after Maggie hurt Homer while imitating it. Only now Maggie imitates Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, and now Marge starts protesting over that. A link to that is also in the video description. And I thought for sure they would finally rate Mystery Incorporated TV PG, the way they did with reruns of Wait Till Your Father Gets Home, since that was originally made for adults back in the 70s. But Boomerang also foolishly rated at TVY 7. And they're not stopping there. On Christmas morning, when MeTV Toons aired Caillou's holiday movie as part of the Wild Brain deal, and to get some EI content on that day, they rated it TVY 7, and that's a preschool program. It was rated TVY on PBS and Cartoonito. That's really off the track. The only thing relating to Caillou I could see being rated TVY 7 is the infamous Big Brother Caillou episode, flashing back to when Rosie was born and he pinched his baby sister's face in a fit of rage. Because pinching newborn infants is indeed dangerous, PBS skipped over that episode. And Cartoonito would cut that scene out as well. I'm also reminded of Arthur, also originally from the same producers as Caillou, as that was normally rated TVY. But a few episodes ended up getting rated TVY 7, including Attack of the Turbo Tibbles, because those Tibble twins get too rough and accidentally injured EW. Vomitrocious, when Francine gets sick and ends up barfing in front of all the kids in the school cafeteria, even if we don't actually see the puke. And of course, Arthur's big hit, the episode that spawned so many memes and YouTube poops. And even series creator Mark Brown doesn't like that episode because of the hitting and how that little scapegoat DW didn't get punished, since she also did something wrong, ignoring Arthur's warnings and touching his model plane to the point of breaking it. Of course, in addition to preschool children, Arthur was also aimed at the rest of the elementary school age crowd, so I could see why we get episodes like those. But enough talking about former PBS cartoons. Regarding David Zaslav and Max, for the holiday season there was even a funny parody of Dr. Seuss's Grinch story, How the Zaz Stole Cartoons, by animation workers Ignited. I'm also providing a link to that story in the video description if you want to read it. It's a real knockout. It sums up that Zaslav hood to a T. I also share a theory with some other fellow Toons that Zaslav must really be an evil, maniacal Toon disguised as a human, like a descendant of Judge Doom or something. I mean, it doesn't seem like much of a stretch. No pun intended, since a lot of us Toons are indeed capable of disguising as a human to be incognito. Some people could still be freaked out by seeing Toons in person. I mean, that lame brain plan to write off all those animated movies and shows and remove them from a streaming service that was originally designed to also appeal to kid and family audiences can only be cooked up by a Toon. Like Judge Doom, wanting to paint over Toontown with a freeway or drill for oil according to the original scripts. But like I said, premium streaming services seem to be dying now, in a manner not unlike cable TV doing so. This is obviously why MeTV Toons was created as an over-the-air TV network, so it can be more accessible in certain ways, along with the pending FAST streaming service for it. Also, Warner Bros. Discovery has been posting some classic Looney Tunes and MGM cartoon shorts on the Warner Bros. Classics YouTube channel for 3 months now. And that's a start. And we've also been getting the Looney Tunes Collector's Choice Blu-ray discs via Warner Archive, often featuring newly restored cartoons not released on streaming or TV yet. And again, the lucky few who have Boomerang, they can still watch the old Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry cartoons on there, as well as several other Warner Brothers shows. At least that aspect wasn't as bad as it was 20 years ago, when the only place Looney Tunes could be found on TV in the United States was on the largely inaccessible Boomerang, and there were only less than 200 shorts available on DVD via the Looney Tunes Gold Collection sets. And again, even though we still have only roughly 60% of the Looney Tunes on disc now, as well as at least 2/3 of the old MGM cartoon shorts on disc, physical media is still very important. Even if you have to resort to unorthodox or obsolete methods to watch them again. But I've still got some more investigating to do about this. Not just what's been going on with Warner Bros. Discovery and their animation library, but also the supposed disappearance of Anthro New England's deer mascot, Copley. Anthro New England is almost 2 weeks away, and I'm still looking to help in cracking this staggering case. Of course, David Zaslav is still on my suspect list for this case. Imagine how great it would be if we could nail him there and get him up the river. But what am I saying? I need to get real here. It's only Warner Bros. Related stuff David Zaslav is after. I don't really have any evidence against him anyways. Now that we're in a whole new year, I hope things improve for me, my friends, and the rest of Toontown. So as usual, keep watching this YouTube channel to see how things will turn out.